Civil Defence now says it's unsure when the inland road between Kaikoura and Culverdon will reopen. Over 800 people have been evacuated via HMNZS Canterbury or by helicopter, but residents were told it was likely the road would reopen this week, and many of them stayed at home in Kaikoura on that understanding. Our reporter Conan Young was at a public meeting this afternoon. I asked him what options the residents now have.
The advice at this stage is if you want to leave, go down to the airport and charter an aeroplane, which, for most people is a bit out of reach. To be fair though, Murray Sinclair, the Civil Defence Controller, said, look, if you do want to leave, come down and tell us at the council. If we can get enough people together, if this is an issue for enough people, we'll see what we can do. So that's the best you've got at the moment in terms of getting out of Kaikoura.
OK, we see people wandering off behind you, Conan, leaving the meeting. What do they think about this? Because there were, and this is the issue, isn't it? You don't write cheques, you can't cash at a time like this. There were promises made about the road being available by the middle to the end of this week. What's the reaction to the fact it won't be?
Look, I haven't actually had a chance to ask people, but just by a couple of people actually did ask that question, and you could tell by the way they were asking, they realised when they were offered the evacuations, last week, that that they could have actually taken up that opportunity, but people turned it down, I guess, on the basis that, well, look, I can take my car, my camper van, that I've bought, I can take that through the inland route when it opens up next week. So they thought, oh, well, that's okay, we'll wait. Now they're stuck. So, yeah, some real desperation from people there. Look, for residents, permanent residents who, aren't looking to move at all, some positive news today. Look, as well as we've got a few shortages of things, but one of the things that's really in shortage is fuel. There's about a week's supply worth of diesel and petrol, so that's been rationed on emergency basis. If you really need the fuel, they'll give you a docket. But, for people who want to get to the supermarket, which isn't being treated as an emergency, well, they're asking people to carpool, and it's just been announced they're going to set up a free shuttle service, so you'll be able to catch that shuttle to the supermarket, into town, get your supplies and then head back out. So something there for the locals. In terms of the water, that came back on Saturday night, so that's a positive. Although they're saying, look, try not to take showers. We've only got a couple of the reservoirs are still full of water. The others have run out, so it's sort of the water is still coming and going because they haven't been able to do a permanent fix on the water. In the meantime, look, they've got communal showers down near the rugby grounds between 4 and 6. Women can come along between 4 and 5, and men 5 till 6. So important we get that right because they're communal showers, so we want to make sure we get that news out there.
Excellent, Conan. There's been a lot of concentration on Kaikoura for obvious reasons. It's the biggest of the communities really seriously affected. It has the biggest tourism industry, the most jobs directly attached to the closure of that road. But what about the smaller communities that are getting less coverage? How are they coping?
Yeah, well, it's, we went down to a little place called Oaro, which is just next to Goose Bay. This is an area that's been cut off by those slips that everybody's seen and heard about south of Kaikoura. So they can't come into Kaikoura. The road south for them is really treacherous, four-wheel drives only, and not something people are wanting to do on a regular basis. So look, we hitched a ride with some police welfare officers who were going down there to check on people's well-being. They gave us a ride on an Air Force helicopter, and here's what we found out.
Nicola McGrath normally takes 111 calls, but today she's answering a call for help of a different kind.
Today we're just basically confirming what they need, so when we get the opportunity to go back with supplies, that's what they'll get, whether it is water or it is fuel, when we get fuel, and then medical stuff and confirming any medical conditions and things as well. So just got to, it's changing all the time, but it's not a one visit and that's it, because they may lose communications at any time, which we've got to be mindful of that.
Nicola's flying down to Oaro, the southernmost point of the Kaikoura coast, to check how people are coping and ensure they're getting all of the help they need. And she's kindly let us tag along. The trip, courtesy of the Air Force, only takes a few minutes by helicopter, but would be impossible by road thanks to a series of gigantic slips. Entire sections of road have been swallowed up by debris, leaving Oaro completely cut off from Kaikoura, the place its inhabitants travel to for work and to do their shopping. But resident Sally McAllister, who drives us around the settlement, says they haven't been forgotten. The day after the quake, her daughter's boss drove his four-wheel drive up from Hurunui packed with supplies.
They called into Harris Meats and he'd ordered meat from there that we're making a big stew of today for everybody. Also a whole lot of savouries and bacon egg pie and stuff that they make at Harris Meats. So they were wonderful. And Kewen, Paul Kewen from Goose Bay, he flew in up to there, a whole lot of vegetables. So he brought us down a wagon load of bread. I think it came from Brumbies or somewhere like that, all specialty breads. He brought us pumpkins, cabbages, cauliflowers, which are $7 in the supermarket at the moment. Box of cauliflowers and things which you'd never expect to get.
Slips to the north have cut the settlement off, but others have provided more of a direct threat. One sent boulders the size of small cars crashing down to within metres of a resident's house, damaging a caravan parked nearby and taking out his glass house. Amazingly, nobody was hurt.
Because this is our bedroom right over here. Lucky it didn't come through the house, it actually just smashed all the roof tiles on top and rolled down the side here. So we're pretty lucky, I guess.
Richard Fong and his family have a big job ahead of them, cleaning up the remains of two of their chimneys that have toppled on top of their holiday home, causing extensive damage to the tiles below.
We purchased this place about 18 months ago, and so we like spending our summers up here all the time, and we're up here generally every weekend. But yeah, so our neighbour just gave us a call, I think early in the week when the earthquake happened, and told us that our chimneys had come down and some big holes in the roof, so we had to rush up, and I think we've been here 3 times this week.
Good afternoon, nearly, is it?
Brad Hutchinson was in Blenheim when the quake struck and had a marathon drive through the night back inland, down to Waipara, and then back up to Oaro to make it home to his partner.
Yeah, so I just keep pushing the odometer from every sign I seen, so the distance felt smaller, so I didn't get tired and didn't look at my phone to keep an eye on the time. It was just keep going, keep going, keep going. Stop for a piss, check the load, carry on, because I thought it was going to blow the tyres out, especially when I come over the hill.
He says the quake was a good reminder of the need to be prepared.
We've loaded up on heaps of supplies and helped everyone else to get their supplies. It's just, you've got to remember, it's not today, it's what happens in 2 weeks or something.
Brad Hutchinson is confident his community will survive this setback as long as everybody continues to look out for each other. In Oaro for Checkpoint, ko Conan Young tēnei.
And if you were watching online or on Freeview Channel 50, those pictures were shot by our video journalist Claire Eastham Farrelly.